Hello, Jay here. Welcome to Beginning Guitar Chapter 5. Okay, today we're going to talk about C major and C minor. Let's start off with C major. Okay, for this chord we're going to be in open position and we're going to have our ring finger on the 3rd fret on the 5th string, middle finger is on the 2nd fret on the 4th string. You're going to have your open 3rd string, index fingers on the 1st fret 2nd string, and then open 1st string. And then I'm going to recommend to make some contact with your ring finger and mute your low 6th string. Or you can also bring your thumb over the top, make some contact, but the main thing is we want to try to mute that low 6th string. And here's C major. So I'm just making that contact with my ring finger or thumb over the top. Can also do that same concept too. Now if I don't mute that string, it's going to sound like this, which is still a nice C chord, but that would be more like a C over E because E is in the bass. And it's just a different sound, so what we try to do is just keep our root as our lowest note, and that would sound more like that. Okay, for a C major mini, I'm going to have just my index finger on the 1st fret on the 2nd string, and then open 3rd string and open 1st string. And try to just hit those 3 notes. Okay, another C major mini. I'm going to add my middle finger to the 2nd fret on the 4th string. I've got my open 3rd string, index is on the 1st fret 2nd string, and then open 1st string. And try to just strum those 4 notes. There's also a C major bar chord, but we're going to hold off on that for a bit. But let's go ahead and talk about C minor, and for this one I will be giving a bar chord option too, but we're going to start off with some smaller mini versions of a C minor. Okay, now as we start going through our chords, some of these chords are going to want to be bar chords, but we're going to hold off on some of these until later in the book. And if you want to go ahead and try them and incorporate them too, you're welcome to, but let's start off with like a mini C minor. Okay, now for this one, I'm just going to have the 3 high strings. I'm going to have my ring finger on the 5th fret 3rd string, middle finger is on the 4th fret 2nd string, and then index is on the 3rd fret 1st string. And then for these mini chords, just try to only strum the notes that are being fretted. So for this one, I'm only going to be hitting my first 3 strings, and that's a C mini chord. You can also make a little bit of contact with your ring finger, and if you can mute your 4th string, then it'll give you a little bit easier strumming access, so you can hit that 4th string without having to avoid it, which is kind of nicer for strumming to have more strings, but again, trying to only have the sounds of the notes that we're fretting. Just extend this into a 4-note chord, so I'm going to replace my ring, or I'm going to swap my pinky to where my ring was. Now I'm going to have my ring finger on the 4th fret 4th string, pinky's now on the 3rd fret 4th string, and then middle still on the 4th fret 2nd string with index on the 3rd fret 1st string. Again, only trying to strum those 4 strings. So there's a C minor mini number 2. Okay, now the next one I'm just going to do a full bar chord. So I'm going to keep my ring, pinky, and middle where they were. I'm just going to now lay my index finger all across the 3rd fret. I'm going to want my chord to start on the 3rd fret 5th string, but I am going to make some contact with my index to mute that low 6th string. So now I've got my index finger on the 3rd fret 5th string, ring fingers on the 5th fret 4th string, pinky's on the 5th fret 3rd string, middle fingers on the 4th fret 2nd string, and then index is barring to get the 3rd fret on the 1st string. Okay, now, important to make that mute because without it, you're going to have an E natural in this chord and you want to have an E flat. So try to watch out for some of those unwanted notes, and this is the process of muting those unwanted strings. This chapter's strum pattern is going to have a combination of quarter notes and 1/8 notes. When you see a box without a bottom, that's a down strum, and an arrow pointing down is an up strum. Okay, we're going to have quarter notes on beats 1 and 4, and for that I recommend just a down strum. On beats 2 and 3, we're going to have 1/8 notes, and we'll count it like this, 2 and 3 and for that I'm going to recommend a down up on each beat. Okay, now here's the pattern without a chord. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just be playing all these one time, but I recommend to repeat them all 4 to 8 times and check out some different tempos, slow, medium, and fast. Have your C major, and we're going to go 4 bars with that pattern. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, for number 2, we're going to go 4 bars of C minor. I'm going to be using the first mini version of this chord. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Here's number 2 a little faster. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, for number 3, we're going to have an 8-bar progression. We're going to go 4 bars of C major into 4 bars of C minor. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Switch. Okay, for number 4, we're going to go 2 bars of C major into 2 bars of C minor. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. For number 5, we're going to go 1 bar of C major into 1 bar of C minor. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, for number 6 and the next numbers to come, we're going to bring back some chords from previous chapters and talk about some rhythms that we've been incorporating. Okay, for number 6, we're going to start off with a C major for 2 bars with normal pattern, and then we're going to switch it to a G major chord for 2 bars with normal pattern after that. Okay, for your G major, I'm just doing the open position chord. I've got my middle finger on the 3rd fret 6th string, index is on the 2nd fret 5th string, have the 2 open strings for the middle strings, and then ring fingers on the 3rd fret 2nd string, pinkies on the 3rd fret 1st string. Okay, here comes number 6. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Number 6 a little faster. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. For number 7, we're going to have an 8-bar progression. We're going to start off with a C minor with normal pattern for the first 2 bars. We're going to switch it to a D minor on bar 3, normal pattern, and then we'll have a whole note on bar 4. That's a chord lasting for 4 beats. We're going to go to a C major on bar 5 with normal pattern. On bar 6, we're still on a C major. We're going to have our normal pattern up to beat 3, and then we'll have a half note, and that's a chord lasting for 2 beats. Okay, on bar 7, we're going to switch it to a D major. And then we're going to have normal pattern, but we'll put a quarter note rest on the last beat, and that will be where we'll rest for just 1 beat, and that's that squiggle. Okay, your D minor, we have our first finger, 1st fret, 1st string, ring fingers on the 3rd fret, 2nd string, and then middle is on your 2nd fret, 3rd string, and then you could have your open 5th and 4th string. For your D major, we're going to have index finger on the 2nd fret 3rd string, ring fingers on the 3rd fret 2nd string, middle fingers on the 2nd fret 3rd string, and then you can have your open 5th and 4th string. Okay, here comes number 7. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, for number 8, we're going to have C major on the first bar with normal pattern. We're going to switch into an A minor on bar 2 with normal pattern. And then we're going to have a whole note rest on bar 3. That's where we won't play anything for 4 beats. And then just stay on your A minor chord for that last bar with normal pattern. For your A minor, you're going to have the middle finger on the 2nd fret 4th string, ring fingers on the 2nd fret 3rd string, and then index is on the 1st fret 2nd string, and then you can have all your open strings. Okay, I want to point something out. When we switch from a C major to an A minor, actually only one finger needs to move. You could take your ring finger and bump it to your second fret on the third string, and that'll make your A minor. So your middle and your index can stay stationary. And if I go back from my A minor to my C major, I can just move my ring finger back to the third fret on the fifth string. So a good thing to practice is just do a long strum of C major, keep your two fingers stationary, move that ring finger, strum your A minor, and then switch it back a few times. And it's always economical to keep as many fingers planted as we can so that we don't have to redo the whole shapes. Okay, here comes number 8. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, for number 9, we're going to start off with the C minor for the first 2 bars with normal pattern, and then we'll switch it to an E major for bar 3, normal pattern. On bar 4, we're going to have a half note rest for the first 2 beats, and then a quarter note rest on beat 3, so we won't play anything for the first 3 beats, and then we'll just do 1 quarter note on our E major on beat 4 of the 4th bar. Okay, here comes number 9. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Okay, for this chapter scales, we're going to talk about C major pentatonic and the C minor pentatonic. Let's start off with your C major pentatonic scale. Pentatonic scales grab 5 notes from either a major or minor scale, and for a major scale, it's going to grab the 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. So our notes for our C major pentatonic are going to be a C, D, E, and then a G and an A, and that all comes from the major scale. Okay, let's play a C major pentatonic scale. Starting off with your 3rd fret on the 5th string, that's the note C. Then we'll go open 2 on the 4th string. Then we'll go open 2 on your 3rd string. And then to your 1st fret on the 2nd string. And that's the note C, so that's 1 octave. Coming back down, 1st fret 2nd string, 2 open 3rd string, 2 open 4th string, and then 3rd fret 5th string. Okay, here's that scale up and down. 3, 4. We're going to hit each note 2 times, and they're going to sound like 8th notes. 3 and 4 and. We're going to take this scale up 2 octaves. So let's go ahead and do what we've already done. We'll go 3rd fret 5th string, open 2 4th string, open 2 3rd string. Then we get to our 1st fret 2nd string. That's where we left off last time. Okay, now we're going to keep climbing up. We're going to go to our 3rd fret on the 2nd string. Now you could use your index for both of these notes, or use your ring finger to get that 2nd note. Okay, now onto your 1st string, we're going to climb on up. We're going to go open 1st string, 3rd fret, 5th fret, and then up to your 8th fret. And that's your 2nd octave C right there. Coming back down, we'll go 8, 5, 3 open. Now to your 2nd string, 3 to 1, 2 open 3rd string, 2 open 4th string, and then 3rd fret 5th string. Okay, here's that scale up and down. 3, 4. We're going to talk about the C minor pentatonic. Now for this one, we're going to grab, again, 5 notes from a minor scale, and these are going to be the notes 1, the flat 3, 4, 5, and the flat 7. Okay, our notes are going to be a C, E flat, F, G, and a B flat. And we're going to start off on that same note C, your 3rd fret on the 5th string. Then we're going to go 1 to 3 on the 4th string. And then we're going to go open 3rd string to the 3rd fret 3rd string, and then we'll go to our 1st fret on the 2nd string. That's your 1st octave C. Now we're going to descend it, 1st fret 2nd string, 3 open 3rd string, and then 3 to 1 4th string, and then 3rd fret 5th string. Here's that scale up and down. 3, 4. We're going to play the same scale but hit each note 2 times. 3 and 4 and. Take this scale up 2 octaves, so let's play what we've already played. 3rd fret, 5th string, 1 to 3, 4th string, open 3, 3rd string, takes us to our note C, that's your 1st fret, 2nd string. Okay, now we're going to jump up to the 4th fret on the same string. You could use your ring or your pinky, or just use your index finger again. Okay, now on the 1st string, we're going to climb up, we're going to go 1, 3, and then 6, 8. That 8th fret again is your 2nd octave C, taking it back down, 8 to 6. 3 to 1. Now we'll go to our 4th fret to the 1st fret on the 2nd string. 3 open, 3rd string. 3 to 1, 4th string. And then 3rd fret, 5th string. Okay, here's that scale up and down. 3, 4. Okay, I always recommend to improvise with our chords and our scales. So what I'm going to do is play a C major chord, strum it for a bit, and then I'm going to improvise with the C major pentatonic. We'll see what happens. Some chords. And some scales. Okay, now I'm going to play a little C minor and then jam some C minor pentatonic. Some chords. And some scale. Back to some chords. And some more scales. Okay, for this chapter study, we're going to talk about power chords. Power chords are really fun. They're, just as they say, they're very powerful. Used a lot in any kind of styles, but definitely a lot also in harder rock and metal. You'll hear these, but you'll also hear them in any pop tune. They're just a chord that has the root in the 5th. So whenever you see the letter in a 5, like the first example is an E5, that stands for a power chord. So it's not major or minor. Now sometimes it'll kind of depend on the context of the tune, but just think of them as their own entity. It's just a power chord. It's just another sort of family of chords. Okay, now you got some options for power chords. You could do sometimes 2 notes, 3 notes, 4 notes, but it's always just going to be repeating the roots and the 5ths. Now there's also open position chords that incorporate the whole span of the guitar with all 6 strings, and those are really fun too. We'll explore those as we go too. But what I'm going to be doing for starters is showing us some open position power chords and then some fretted power chords and talk about how to move these around. Okay, now for your open position chords, these are kind of just for only open position. There's only so many of them because they're going to utilize our open strings. Okay, for the first one, we're going to do an E power chord or an E5. Just take your index finger, go to your 2nd fret on the 5th string, and then you could do a 2-note power chord. Just get your 6th string and your 5th string at the same time. It's an E power chord. Now, if I bar with my index finger and get the second fret on the 4th string, I can get a 3-note power chord. So they're both really cool. Now for number 1, we're going to just do a 2-note power chord, all down strums for all these, and it's just going to be 4 bars of quarter notes on an E power chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, for number 2, we're going to switch it to an A power chord. For this one, just pivot up a string and go now to my index finger on the 2nd fret 4th string. And for this one, I want to have my open 5th string. So be selective with your picking with your right hand and try to get that A as your lowest note in this chord. Now, if I hit my low 6th string, you're going to hear that E string, and it's still an A power chord, but it's kind of inverting that chord. So try to just let your right hand pivot a bit as we move to the higher power chords. I want to point out too that you can have your thumb over the top of the neck and mute your low E string that way. Then you can just strum away on your low strings. Okay, for this one I could do the 2-note or just bar with my index and get the 2nd fret 3rd string. And then I have my 3-note A power chord. Okay, now for this one, we're going to have some different rhythms. We're going to start off with the whole note on bar 1. That's a chord lasting for 4 beats. We'll do quarter notes on bar 2. 2 half notes on bar 3. Each of those chords last for 2 beats, and then back to quarter notes on bar 4. Okay, here comes number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Here's number 2 a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, for number 3, we're going to go into a D power chord. Now for this one, if we just want the 2-note, you could just go index finger, 2nd fret 3rd string, and then your open 4th string. Again, trying to have my 4th string as my lowest note, so I'm just shifting up a little bit with my right hand. That's your 2-note D power chord. Now for a 3-note, you could use your middle or your ring finger, but we're going to grab the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. And for this one, I'm going to use my middle finger. Feels pretty good. But also just so you know, if I'm playing my regular D major chord, that's also kind of has the shape in there. So that's both of those are cool ways to play your D. Okay, let's go ahead and do some rhythms here. We're going to have quarter notes for first 2 bars. We'll go to 8th notes on bar 3 and then back to quarter notes on bar 4. Okay, here comes number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2nd bar, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's number 3 a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now for number 4, we're going to go into a G power chord, and this is going to be a fretted power chord. These are completely movable, unlike the open string power chords we've done. Okay, for this one, go to your index finger on the 3rd fret 6th string, that's the note G, and then just stretch with your ring finger and go to your 5th fret on the 5th string. Now if you hit both those together, you'll have your G power chord. Okay, now to do a 3-note power chord, add your pinky to the 5th fret 4th string. And both of those are cool. Now, you can also do your power chords with your index and your pinky, which I do sometimes too. And then if I bar with my pinky, I can get the 3-note power chord. So experiment a little bit. You can also bar with your ring finger and get a 3-note power chord too, but sometimes I use my pinky to get that 3rd note. So definitely some options for your fretted power chords. Now, completely movable. If I'm on my 3rd fret, that's a G power chord. 2nd fret would be a G flat or an F sharp. 1st fret is an F power chord leading to my open E. But basically, you can play them anywhere on your low strings. Okay, now let's go ahead and add some rhythms here. We're going to do a whole note on bar 1, 2 half notes on bar 2, back to a whole note on bar 3, and then some quarter notes on bar 4. Okay, here comes number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's number 4 a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, for number 5, we're going to go into a C power chord. So take that same shape we just did, but now we're going to base it off of the 5th string. So I've got my index finger on the 3rd fret 5th string. Ring finger stretches to the 5th fret on the 4th string. That's a 2-note power chord. Okay, now you can make some contact with your index finger and mute your low 6th string, or just be selective with your right hand and just try to target just those 2 notes. But it's kind of nice to mute that low 6th string, just in case I want to kind of rock out a bit. Okay, now also your index finger eventually, you can start to mute your higher strings too. So you can actually get into being able to strum more of the guitar, only hearing those selective notes too. Okay, now for your 3-note power chord, just add your pinky to the 5th fret on the 3rd string, and that's your 3-note power chord. Okay, now for number 5, we're going to start off with quarter notes on bar 1 to a whole note on bar 2, 8th notes on bar 3, and then 2 half notes on bar 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 4. Here's number 5 a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 4. Okay, for number 6, we're going to start to switch our power chords a bit. We're going to go from an open E power chord to an open A power chord. That's just going to be making the pivot with your index finger from an E to an A. It's a good thing to practice. Just do some long chords, and that's the concept. Again, my right hand's also making that shift, hitting the low 2 strings for my E power chord, and then the 5th and the 4th string for my A power chord. Okay, now for this one, we're going to start off with an E power chord with quarter notes on the first 2 bars. We'll switch it to an A power chord, keeping our quarter notes on bar 3, but then we'll just do a whole note for bar 4, staying on that A power chord. Okay, here's number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Here's number 6 a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, for the last one, number 7, we're going to do a similar concept. We're going to switch from 2 fretted power chords for this one. So we're going to start off on the G power chord, and then we're going to move it to a C power chord, and that's that pivot, switching my index and ring to the next strings higher, as my right hand also makes that move too. Okay, now for rhythms, we're going to have a whole note on the G power chord for the first bar, and then quarter notes staying on that G for bar 2. When we switch it to our C power chord, we'll have quarter notes on bar 3 and then 2 half notes on bar 4. Okay, here comes number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's number 7 a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay, so have fun with your power chords. I definitely recommend you could crank it up, you can use distortion, you can play them fast, you can also play them more in a mellow vibe too. But they're really cool, and I'll be talking about these power chords all throughout the book. We'll do some different studies, keep working these and expanding, and these will also lead into our second book where we'll still talk about some power chords. So get to know them a little bit, and I'm sure you'll see them in some of the tunes that you play. Okay, thank you so much for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you for Chapter 6. Take care.